Good evening. I'm political editor Dennis Welch, and this is Politics Unplugged. And this week we are once again focusing on Arizona Congressional District 5, centered in the Far East Valley, and the candidates there seeking to replace retiring Congressman Matt Salmon. And with us today, Justin Olson, one of the 4 GOP candidates seeking this seat. Now we're talking Don Stapley, Andy Biggs, Christina Jones, also running in this district. It's a very conservative, Republican-safe seat. What sets you apart from your opponents?
That's a great question. I think what sets me apart is I'm young, I'm energetic, I'm passionate about securing our freedoms and protecting and preserving them. The freedoms that were established in our Constitution. I've been a strong conservative leader with a proven track record, been a citizen legislator. I'm going to go back to Washington, D.C. and have that ability to persuade and build coalitions and accomplish conservative reforms.
So you don't think your opponents are for protecting freedoms and liberties?
Well, you know, I think that I've got that proven track record and that ability to accomplish it.
What is that track record? Explain to the viewers who maybe don't know you. I mean, obviously, not everybody knows every state representative, state senator is not a household name for a lot of folks.
Right.
Let's go through this. What have you done on that track record to prove that you're the guy you say you are?
I was elected in 2010 when the state saw a $3.6 billion budget deficit. I made a promise to my voters that I would make that my #1 priority to reverse that budget deficit and do it without raising taxes, without the budget gimmicks that the legislature had turned to previously, without new debt. I delivered on that promise, became the budget leader in the House. We reversed that budget deficit, now have a surplus. That's what I want to do in Washington. We've more than doubled the national debt under the current administration. We've got to change course. That's going to be my #1 priority. We've got to end the out-of-control spending in Washington, D.C., balance our budget. Well,
one of your opponents, Don Stapley, was on the show here last week, and he also said that balancing budgets was one of his strong points. And I want you to take a quick look at one of your campaign ads, which touches a little bit on this issue.
As your congressman, I'll fight to reduce the size, cost, and reach of the federal government. I'll fight to stop the irresponsible spending and borrowing that has left us nearly $20 trillion in debt. And unlike those Washington insiders who like to make empty promises about border security, I'll fight to secure our border, and I won't stop fighting until the job is done.
Now let's talk a little bit about some of these issues. Let's talk about going to Washington and compromising. A lot of folks like Ted Cruz have said that the Republicans have compromised too much. When you get to Congress, is there any room for compromise to get some of these issues that you're talking about bringing up in this campaign and to get these accomplished?
What we've got to do is find win-win solutions where we can build coalitions, build on common ground, and accomplish conservative reforms. You know, unlike one of my opponents that you mentioned, who balanced the budget by raising property tax levies, by increasing the amount that property owners had to pay in their taxes, I've not supported tax increases. I've balanced budgets by reducing the spending. That's what we've got to do in Washington, D.C. That's the promise that I've made to the
some may
voters.
say reducing spending, but others might say hurting poor people by cutting benefits to people like that, like the temporary cash assistance program that went from 24 months to 12 months, which is the shortest period in the country at this point. And some people are saying, look, that maybe not a good thing.
Well, look, if we don't address the out-of-control spending in Washington, D.C., then all of the government services that we rely on, critical services like public safety, like national defense, like the promises that we made to our seniors and the retirement benefits that they've paid into for their entire lives are in jeopardy if we don't get the out-of-control spending under control.
But how do you convince your own party? Because they're the ones that have been controlling Congress now, which controls the purse strings. They've been controlling that for a number of years now, and just spending keeps going up and up and up.
You're absolutely right. That's why I'm running for Congress, because I'm so frustrated with Washington ignoring what we, the people of the United States, have been demanding for years. Balanced budget, border security, enforcing our immigration laws. We've got to send the message to Washington. I think that folks are starting to wake up and realize, look, we can't ignore our voters. I'm going to be the representative of the people. The conservative values is what I'll fight for.
Now, would you be willing to shut down or force the shutdown of government to balance a budget deal? We've seen this in the past. It's been kind of controversial. Are you somebody that's willing to take that step?
We've got to do everything within our power. The Constitution clearly gives the authority to the Congress, the power of the purse. We've got to use that power to balance our budget. Now, it's going to take time. We can't do it overnight, but there are plans out there that will work. The penny plan, if we reduce spending by 1% a year for 10 years, we will have a balanced budget. Then we can start chipping away at the national debt. We've got to establish a plan, we've got to stick to it, and we can accomplish it.
So yes, you're willing to force the shutdown of government.
We can't take any leverage off the table, so we've got to make sure that there is a viable threat, that we will use every ounce of energy and passion and tool that we have at our disposal to make sure that we accomplish these conservative reforms.
So cutting spending, where are you at spending money to build a wall for on the southern border to end the flow of immigration?
We've got to secure our borders, and you know, I think that we could accomplish this by enacting an employer sanctions program like we did in Arizona across the country, and this would dramatically decrease the inflow of illegal immigration because it would reduce the draw. Right now, we actually have a reduced immigration inflow in Arizona because of the employer sanction reform that we passed several years ago. But yet, folks can get work in Texas and California. We've got to put all businesses on a level playing field, and that will actually benefit Arizona businesses, decrease the draw. Then we will have the ability to secure the border through fencing and technology and get operational control, because those that would be coming across would be only those that are coming to do harm, trafficking in drugs, or do real harm to Americans if they are terrorists or others that seek to kill Americans.
Well, let's talk a little bit about terrorists. A little over a week ago, we saw another attack in France, and as we tape right now, that looks like there may be another sort of terrorist attack happening in Munich, Germany right now. Details still coming in on that. Now, Donald Trump said that he'd be willing, or the country needs to declare war on ISIS. Do you agree with that statement, and what does that mean when you declare war on someone like ISIS? What does that mean?
You know, we have to take the fight to the terrorists, to those that want to do harm to Americans and
increasing troops
and Israel. You know what? We've got to evaluate all of the different strategies at our disposal. You know, the current administration's policies have failed us. The current administration said that he wants to eradicate ISIS, but he's laid out no strategy to accomplish that. We've got to approach
more troops, though, on the ground in Syria and Iraq to take care of this. Is this what you're advocating for?
You know, we absolutely have to consider those options. We've got to fight the terrorists where they are, or they're going to fight us here.
Gotcha. Now, here domestically, we've seen a lot more violence here with police shootings. We saw the tragedy in Dallas. This came after some videos that went viral about some African American men being shot by police. What kind of role do you think Congress should be playing in that to alleviate some of these tensions between, particularly the African American community, minority communities, and police officers?
I think that we've got to defuse situations rather than foment them. And unfortunately, some of the dialogue that we've seen from the current administration, I think, has had the opposite effect and actually made the situation worse. We've got to stand behind our public safety folks, and when there are bad actors, they've got to be held accountable, and they have, and that does occur. We've got to make sure that there are no attacks on our public safety folks, because that is an attack on all of us. Our public safety folks are there to protect law and order and protect us and eliminate crime, and we've got to make sure that we stand with them.
Now, did you watch any of the Mr. Trump's speech the other night here? Obviously, he's your party's official nominee now. Did you watch the speech, and what was your takeaway message for that, and were you a fan of it?
You know, I actually caught some of the speech. I was actually at 2 different campaign events last night. I was able to listen to some of the speech while I was driving between those events. And you know what? I think folks are so frustrated with Washington, D.C. That's why Trump's message has caught on. We want someone who's going to go back to Washington and is going to change things, going to absolutely take on the establishment and not just do the same old thing that we've seen for so long. We've got to change the status quo. That's why I'm running for Congress as well. We've got to change course in so many ways, on spending, on border security, on tax reform. We've got to reduce the burden that the government is placing on our economy so the private sector can flourish.
And last week, your opponent, Don Stapley, came on the show and says he's all in on Donald Trump. Where are you with Mr. Trump? Are you all in, or are you just embracing and endorsing the nominee?
No, I'm absolutely supporting Donald Trump. It's critical that we're so successful in this election. I've mentioned many of the things that he's pursued that I'm supportive of. Another important reform is nominating someone to the Supreme Court that's going to be in the mold of Justice Scalia, a constitutional conservative, someone who's going to apply the Constitution the way it was originally intended.
Do you trust him as a conservative? There's a lot of Republicans out there who say there's no way, if you go back over his history and you look at his positions on abortion and other things, that he is not a consistent conservative or a constitutional conservative.
He's changed some of his views over time, but one thing I can tell you is I can guarantee you that if Hillary Clinton is successful, we're going to get a liberal on the court replacing Justice Scalia, and we will have changed the makeup of the court for generations to come. With our Republican nominee, with Donald Trump, we've got a strong possibility that we can get someone that's in the mold of Justice Scalia and uphold the Constitution.
All right, it's the last question we got before we got to take a break, but what is your most important issue Other than the budget, that seems to be every lawmaker's top priority, but other than the budget, what would be your top position if you're elected to Congress?
Well, you know, I mentioned the budget, I mentioned border security and immigration reform. In addition to that, we've got to have tax reform. We've got a job-killing tax rate that's got to be addressed so we can grow our economy, reduce the regulations that we're placing on our businesses.
All right. Thanks a lot for stopping by. And as I said, we're going to have to take a quick break here, but we have lots more still to come here on Politics Unplugged. Coming up, Donald Trump is officially the nominee. And with the help of his family, he reaches out to voters. Some say he's already turned off.
In my father's company, there are more female than male executives. Women are paid equally for the work that we do, and when a woman becomes a mother, she is supported, not shut out.
Plus, the candidate himself promises to keep us all safe. More on his plans just ahead.
Neighbors feud.
They set a mortar shell off in the backyard.
Not true.
Turns into a war.
You say she asked if you were into swinging.
For real?
For real, yeah. You're sick.
Next, Dr. Phil. Monday at 3 on 3 TV.
Celeste.
We want to return our house. It's a lemon.
But it's got those vaulted ceilings.
The internet is really slow. We can't get anything done.
And I sell dollhouse furniture online.
It's her hobby.
It's a business.
Oh, you must have CenturyLink. Just get Cox. They have the same top speeds everywhere.
We'll keep it.
Everyone deserves fast. Bundles including Cox high-speed internet start at just $99.99 a month. $100 prepaid card included.
Cox, that's easy.
I was ready to walk away.
As any reasonable person would.
What are you waiting for? Bundles including Cox high-speed internet start at just $99.99 a month. $100 prepaid card included.
Yes, Cox is available in this area. Yes, I'll put it in writing.
Why wait? With the same top speeds everywhere, bundles including Cox high-speed internet start at just $99.99 a month. $100 prepaid card included.
High five.
Summer is here. It's time to relax and take it easy.
The only thing easier than this would be to call Express Flooring.
Call today for free in-home shopping plus huge savings up to 67.5% on carpet, tile, wood, and laminate flooring, including pet and stain-resistant flooring. Plus, buy with no interest until 2018.
I mean, what's easier than that?
Express Flooring is the best. Call 800-EXPRESS.
I was dreaming about a new job, a different apartment, then bam!
If you've been in a car accident, chances are you're in pain. Doctors and staff at Emergency Chiropractic are dedicated to getting you well. Appointments are available 7 days a week and will treat you with no deductibles, no copays, and no out-of-pocket costs. Don't let an auto accident destroy your dreams. Call Emergency Chiropractic today.
Emergency Chiropractic, the kind of care you want today.
Buckle up.
And welcome back to Politics Unplugged. It's now time to talk it out with our partner from First Strategic. Here with us is Marcus Dellartino and Barrett Marson, first time on the show as a pundit. Welcome aboard here. And I want to start with talking about that CD5 race. Now, obviously, we have to disclose that you are employed by Mr. Don Stapley.
That's absolutely correct. I'll say, Dennis, you know, watching Justin, you know, certainly he can stay on message. That is, I'm going to give him that right now. But I said, even before I was hired by the Stapley campaign, that it's going to be a Don Stapley, Christine Jones race. She's going to put in maybe $2 million. She spent about $6 million on her failed gubernatorial run a couple of years ago. I think she's going to put in about $2 million. Don Stapley, well known throughout the district. There's Stapley Drive, Stapley Junior High, Stapley Park. His family is well known. I think that's #1 and #2 right there.
Marcus, you going to agree with that? Sure. This is going to come down to Stapley and to Christine Jones. Or you think it's Biggs or someone else has got a shot in this?
No, I mean, you got to go through and look at the current polls. Everybody's bunched up. It's any man's race here. Christine Jones has the paycheck, but she doesn't live in the district. I think that that's a strike against her.
Well, here, let's talk about that poll. Here's this new poll. It shows Christine Jones leading the race right now, 26%. 21 for Andy Biggs, 10 for Don Stapley Barrett, 5 for Justin Olson, but 57% are undecided right now. Now, Christine Jones, just a month or so ago, she was in the basement, and now she's in the executive suite. What happened?
she went up on TV, and she spent a whole lot of money on TV, and that gets your name ID up, and that's a product, and you're seeing the reflection of that work in that poll.
She's been on Fox News a lot on airing commercials. She's aired well-produced commercials. I am sure we're going to continue to see that. She is a North Phoenix resident. She doesn't live in the district. She really does have to introduce herself to the district.
This is an important note as we move forward this election cycle. What the viewers need to understand is polling information at this time is unreliable, and that is because you cannot base, there's not a predictable model in this election cycle. Just think if Donald Trump has just cleared the boards and become the nominee. There's not a easy way to predict who is going to show up for these elections. It makes the job that much more difficult.
Well, is anybody going to be able to keep up with her spending?
Oh, absolutely not. There's no one, not even Andy Biggs, who won a lottery back, 20 years ago. Not even Andy Biggs can keep up with the spending that Christine Jones has done and probably will do. But if there's anyone who's going to spend close to her, it will be Andy Biggs, yet we haven't really seen. He's lent his campaign money.
I'm kind of surprised by that. Now, Andy Biggs obviously has been the Senate president for a long time. He's got the endorsements of seemingly every big name out in the East Valley.
No, that is not true.
Oh, well, a lot of big names out in the East Valley.
The mayor of Mesa.
Everybody's got plenty of endorsements.
There's plenty of endorsements out there. Okay, he's got plenty of endorsements, but he's been somebody who's been running the state senate for a long time. Yet here he is, losing to Christine Jones.
Well, listen,
and he hasn't spent much money.
Everybody, and apparently including the media, overvalues the former elected position. I'm going to tell you right now, when you're a state legislator, you think your name ID is 50 to 70%, and the fact of the matter is it's about 7%. So, it works for a different purpose. It works for fundraising, it works for networking, but it doesn't exactly propel you to first in the polls.
Right. But why isn't he spending any more money? I mean, it seems that we're looking at some finance, but we're getting close to early ballots dropping.
You hold your gunpowder until you see the whites of their eyes. So don't rule it out.
I think that nobody would be paying attention in CD5 right now. Christine Jones, while she has come up in the polls, I'm sure that's soft just because of the name ID. I think after next week, after the Democrat convention, people will then start paying attention to what's going on in the primary here in Arizona.
Now, the other interesting thing, I want to talk a little bit about the Trump effect. We've heard that there could be, a drag on a lot of candidates, but this is a very solidly, very far right-leaning district over there. It seems like a lot of candidates, Christine Jones in particular, are kind of running a Donald Trump-type campaign, don't you think?
I think it's an attractive message. I think that it's been an attractive grassroots message for a long time. I would agree with you that district particularly is different and somewhat insulated from the more global picture of a Donald Trump down-ballot effect.
Yeah, I don't know that Donald Trump will have a lot of impact in that district. I just don't see, people, I don't even know how much support he has truly in that, considering it's such a strong Republican
district. We're going to have to take a break right now, but we'll come back with a little bit more because we have lots more to talk about here on Politics Unplugged. Just ahead, highlights from the Republican National Convention, including some time in the spotlight for Maricopa County Sheriff Joe Arpaio.
Donald Trump will build the wall. And restore law and order and keep drugs and illegal immigrants from entering into our country.
A plug from Sheriff Joe and a diss from Ted Cruz. A wild convention here on Politics Unplugged.
Howdy, folks. I'm Tex Earnhardt with Earnhardt Chevrolet. We are so excited about our new Earnhardt Chevrolet store. During our grand opening, Zero Down delivers. 0 payments for 90 days. 0 chances our prices can be beat. 0 chances you'll find a better trade value. We need your trade and we'll pay you top dollar. Remember this, if you don't try us, we both lose money. Stop in and see us at Earnhardt Chevrolet, and that ain't no bull.
How are you?
I still can't believe my little brother's gone.
How's Gina doing?
Not so good. Mark didn't have life insurance, and there's a bunch of bills coming in.
Robert, we don't have life insurance either.
I know. We need coverage so this doesn't happen to us, but with our health issues, how would we qualify?
I just heard about MetLife Guaranteed Acceptance Whole Life Insurance. No medical questions or exams are required, and it seems affordable.
we should give them a call.
If you're age 50 to 75, call MetLife today and discover how guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance can cover final expenses such as credit card debt, medical bills, and funeral costs. Coverage amounts range from $2,000 to $25,000 with rates starting at just $970 per month. We offer convenient payment options, and you can't be turned down for any health reason. In fact, acceptance is guaranteed. Rates will also never increase, and coverage will never decrease. Contact MetLife and discover how easy it can be to help protect the people who depend on you.
I see the uncertainty in people's eyes, but that only fuels me more. For me, it's more than a job, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to give you a healthy mouth.
You know, we've got a lot in common.
Thanks, Danica.
Right here.
Aspen Dental wants you to make a pit stop for our grand opening with free exams and x-rays for patients without insurance. Call 1-800-ASPEN-DENTAL because your mouth is our mission.
Honey Nut Cheerios get their delicious taste from real, honest ingredients. Real oats. That's a big bowl. Real honey. Yeah, honey. And real patience. Hurry up. I like that B.
And welcome back to Politics Unplugged with more. We're going to be talking more about the campaign trail and the Republican National Convention. And with us again is Barrett Marson, Marson Media, and Marcus Dellartino from First Strategic. Now, guys, let's talk about this Republican convention. I don't even know really where to start. I mean, a lot of interesting twists here. We're talking about the speech from Melania Trump, including passages that were not exactly, but maybe closely mirrored a speech from Michelle Obama 8 years ago. And then there was some well-received speeches from Donald Trump's children. But at the end of the day, guys, everybody was talking about Ted Cruz. Here, let's take a listen to what he had to say.
Vote your conscience. Vote for candidates up and down the ticket who you trust to defend our freedom.
Okay, play interpreter. Interpret political speak into layman's terms. What did he just do right there?
Let me just first say, clearly the convention went off the rails very early on, but that's what made it exciting. That's what made it must-see TV. I don't think a lot of people turned in because they really want to hear the second vice president of some Republican organization out in Iowa. They want to hear from interesting people and who say interesting, crazy things. I thought Ted Cruz's speech was horrible from a Republican perspective, but fun to watch from a viewer perspective.
And what did you make of that speech, Marcus?
It was a nice handwritten note to Donald Trump to go stick it where the sun don't shine. That's exactly what he did. And you know what? Here's what he said. And you've attacked my family, you've attacked my wife, you've attacked my family, you've attacked my father, and you get what you deserve, and here it is. Now, is it going to will it pan out for him long term? I don't think so.
I want to play a little bit of the soundbite because we do have that when he was talking about how this all became very personal. Here, let's take a listen.
And I'm not going to get into criticizing or attacking Donald Trump, but I'll just give you this response. I am not in the habit of supporting people who attack my wife and attack my father.
Long term, is he going to come out on top, or is he, as Trump's people suggesting, or is he ruining his political career?
Well, let me just say, I don't disagree with Ted Cruz. I disagree that he should have given that speech. He should not have been up there. I think this hurts him long term. If he's going to go to the convention and just take it out on the Republican nominee, he should never have been there, and I think this hurts his career.
All right, now let's move on to that Donald Trump speech. Now, everyone was waiting to hear what the man had to say for himself, and he touched on a lot of themes. But this overriding message is we will work to get things done for everyday Americans. Here, let's take a listen.
These are people who work hard but no longer have a voice. I am your voice. The first task for our new administration will be to liberate our citizens from the crime and terrorism and lawlessness that threatens our communities. The most important difference between our plan and that of our opponent is that our plan will put America first. Americanism, not globalism. To every parent who dreams for their child, and every child who dreams for their future, I say these words to you tonight. I am with you, I will fight for you, and I will win for you.
All right. Now, did he deliver?
Well, first of all, kudos to the guys in editing who somehow found a minute of tape where he did not say, "I'm the law and order candidate." I don't know how they pulled that off. Congratulations to those guys.
The whole speech I kept hearing the law and order theme.
That was the message coming out.
Our producer Jay Crandall getting some love from us. So did he deliver the message that he needed?
I am your voice, I thought was a great line, because I truly believe that he is speaking to the people that voted for him who feel like they have lost a little bit of their way. I just don't know if it's enough, but I think that he truly did speak to the people who support him last night.
But he certainly did not let up on his tough talk on immigration. Now, again, he's promising to build a wall, deport people, and once again, calling for people for that temporary ban on Muslims coming in from other countries. Now, here, let's take a listen a little bit of what he had to say about that.
We must immediately suspend immigration from any nation that has been compromised by terrorism until such time as proven vetting mechanisms have been put in place. We don't want them in our country.
Just part of that 73-minute speech. We've got plenty of sound bites there from that one. But look, I mean, this immigration message, whether it be Hispanics coming from Mexico, Muslims, is this going to play in a general election where there's a much more diverse audience that he's playing to?
Well, I don't think it would have come up if it wasn't. I mean, if you look at his message, it was a populist message last night. It wasn't a right-wing Republican message. You saw him reach across the aisle. I mean, when he talked about NAFTA, what he was talking to are the workers in Ohio and Pennsylvania who have been laid off in bad trade deals. Remember, the union was against NAFTA. He was appealing to them right there. So, yeah, I think at the end of the day, there is a shot. And frankly, when you look at current world events, today we're sitting here, there's at least 6 people that died in Germany in some sort of attack. These type of things fall right into his speech.
Now, during this speech, it looked like he attempted to reach out to the LGBTQ community out here. Now, here's a little bit of what he had to say regarding that attack in Orlando, in that Orlando nightclub here.
I will do everything in my power to protect our LGBTQ citizens from the violence and oppression of a hateful foreign ideology. Believe me.
Now, is that going to work? I mean, this comes after the party adopted what is considered the most homophobic platform in party history.
You know, I don't think anyone has read the platform. Certainly, after someone's elected, no one goes back to the platform. Candidates don't run necessarily on the platform. I thought it was great for him to reach out. I thought having Peter Thiel earlier in the day talk about, you know, he is a gay Republican. I thought that was an excellent move, and I think that may pay dividends. But just being good on one issue isn't, that won't win over the LGBTQ community. You have to be good on they care about a lot of things, not just whether you are good on their one issue.
Let's big picture here. Is he going to get a good bump out of this? Did he do enough to get a bump in the polls?
Oh, I think he did enough to get a bump. I just don't know that it's I don't think it's going to offset necessarily the Hillary bump that she gets next week.
The bump's not going to last very long. It's going to last about 12 hours. Here's what's going on today is that Hillary Clinton's going to name her VP here on Friday. We head straight into the Democratic convention. I'm going to say Vilsack, sorry.
Vilsack. You know, I kind of agree with Marcus, but I think the smarter money is on Kane. No one ever said that Marcus was smart, but
my mom.
Oh yeah. So I'm probably going to go Kane, though I think a better pick is Vilsack.
All right, guys. Well, that's all the time we have this week. Thanks for stopping by and joining us for Politics Unplugged. We'll see you next week, and good night.